Hello everyone, I am Kushal Vijay and this is Savage Programmer. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fine. So in the continuation of our series of Git and GitHub, we are in the fourth lecture today, and today we are going to see two things, and those two things are really important. So let's jump right in, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do subscribe it. I frequently post some amazing content that you can check out here. So let's get started. So I've deleted all the files that we have created in the previous lectures. First step that we follow is opening of git bash. So let's open the git bash first. You can zoom in the window by control and plus sign so that it will be visible to you all. Let me make it more bigger. Okay, and like always, the first command whenever we use git bash, the first command should be git status. So I deleted all the other files, so it is showing us that these changes are not tracked. So it is a kind of revision as well. First command should be git status, then we have to add these changes to our git repo using this. Okay, sorry, I forgot to write add. Now these changes are tracked if you check the status again. So these are now tracked by our git repo. Now we just have to commit message should be everything cleared. So it's a kind of revision. Now let's clear the window using clear. So today we are going to see how we can leverage rm command, that is remove command. Although we have already seen how we can use rm command, that is to delete the files that we have created. First of all, let's create a few files. For example, let's create test1.txt. Now let's add something to this file. Hope you guys are enjoying Savage Programmer. Fine. So we have added our text as well. Now let's check the status. So it is showing that these are the untracked changes. A new file has been created. So let's commit this. First of all, we have to add this change. Let's add the test1.txt. I typed enter tab twice, that's why it has come twice. So I've added these to github repo now, git repo now. Let's commit test message file added. Okay, so we have added this file as well. Now there comes a condition, a situation where you wanted to delete your file, the test1.txt here. You want to delete that file from your staging area. So there are two options to do that. First would be you can directly delete that test1.txt in the directory and then commit the changes again. So let's do it first. So let's remove test.txt. So now git status. So you see it is being deleted, and we'll add the changes again and we'll commit those changes. Deleted test message file. So you see we have added and we have also deleted that particular file from the staging area, and we can check that through a log command, that is git log. We'll see the last two logs via this command. So you see first of all we created that file and added that file to staging area, then deleted that file from the staging area. Now what is the disadvantage of this command is that file is also being deleted from the hard disk as well. Now if we only want to delete that file from the staging area but not from the hard disk, then how will we do that? So this is the second method. So first of all, we'll create that file again, test1.txt. We'll add a particular message. So yeah, we'll add I hope so, wish you a very happy new year in advance. Okay, advance. So this is a message we have typed. Now we'll check the status of this directory. test1.txt is untracked. Let's track it. Now let's commit. Let's commit and let's say new year message file added. Fine. Now we just want to remove that particular file from the staging area and not from the hard disk. So how will we do that? We'll use the git rm only, but with cached, oh sorry, wrong spelling, cached flag as well, and then the file name. So you see, let's check the status now. So you see deleted that particular file from the staging area, and test1.txt is still untracked because we have deleted that from the staging area. Now it's been untracked obviously. So you see, we have deleted our file from the staging area without being deleted from the hard disk. So this is really cool and a good way to if you whatever changes that you have committed, if you are not sure or if you by mistake committed them, so you can retrace back, right? Okay, so let's move on to a next command or next trick that I wanted to show you. So let's clear this window. So we have test1.txt untracked for now, right? Let's clear this. Let's create a few more files like test2.txt and test3.txt. So these two files are also created. Let's take the same message in other two files as well, just to have something in them. Okay, so we have made changes into it. Now git you'll always run git status after doing some changes. So if you see, it is showing us a detailed status of our the working directory. What is the changes that we have done, are they untracked, and what is there in the what is being unstaged right now and everything, right? But for example, right now we had only 3 files or something like that. But if we have a lot of files, then in that case these much details would be very pretty long, and this particular window will be filled by details, and then it will be very chaotic for the developer as well. So in that case, if we just wanted a brief version of the status, then what we have to do is we just have to use a flag -s along with it, and you see the magic. This particular file is being deleted, right, from the staging area. So it is showing deleted, and these are two blocks, right? Let me go. These are two blocks. The first block represents the staging area, and the second block represents the working directory. Right now, these two, it is showing question mark to all these because these are just we have just created these two files and we have not tracked any of them till now. So let's add those again and let's see the magic. Let's add these changes and let's commit them to the staging area. Commit -m and let's write the message testing files created. Okay, so we have added those files as well. Now if you see, if I'll type that status s, so it is showing nothing. Let's do some changes or modifications into our all three files. Oh, sorry, not the complete message but the smiley only. Now if I check the status -s, it is showing that you have modified the file, but it's showing with red and also in the second right hand side block, which means you have modified the files in the working directory. Now if I add test1.txt and also now check the status. So what does this means now? The changes that we have made are being tracked by the Git now. Earlier I told you by mistake I told you that with a green block here it means that the first block means the changes are being at the staging. No, but the first block means that the changes are being tracked by the Git, and the second means what changes that are there in the working directory and which are not modified with the red. And so this is showing blank because we have not tracked test2.txt yet, the changes that we have done to test2.txt. Now for example, if I do some changes to test1 again, let's do some modifications and let's check the status again with a sign. Now you see it is showing that you have modified the test1 in the working directory, and those changes are still not tracked, and there are other changes which are already being tracked by the Git, right, which are and not committed. So things are not committed, that's why they are showing it here, right? And okay, so this was the one of the things that one should know. And so this is really important thing, the description of the status, and you should know how to read the status. What does these green color mean, and what does that red color mean, and the complete representation as well. So this is really important. I hope you got the idea what I am trying to say. And if I add these all and then check the status, you see everything is being tracked now. And if I'll comment these changes, testing files modified, and then check the status, it will show me nothing, because everything is being tracked and committed, everything is passed to the staging area, and nothing is left in the nothing is left untracked or in the being tracked but not committed. Got it? So let's clear this window and move to the next command. So now we will discuss about Gitignore. Now Gitignore is an important file which is used to ignore those files which you don't want to be tracked. For example, there are a few kinds of file that are really not important, and when you push or pull code from the code hosting platform, you don't want them to be tracked and pass on to the hosting platform. For example, the environment variable file, it may be possible you might have saved some internal passwords in that, and you don't want them to be passed to the hosting server. The Python cache files, the migration files, these files, and the logging files as well, which are automatically generated. So you don't want these files to be tracked and pass on to the server, because these files may be very large, and the more the larger the bigger the size of the file, it will take more time to push all the changes and transfer the changes to the hosting platform. So first of all, we'll create that Gitignore .gitignore. Yep. file. So it is being created now. Here it is. So we have created our Gitignore file. Now for example, there now for example, you have some environment files at your end and you don't want those files, like we have at the developer end we have this dev.env file, and at the production end we have this prod.env file. Now you don't want these files to be transferred to the code hosting platform, right? So because it might contain some important passwords that are used by you, you know, and these should not be passed to the code hosting platform because it is being used by multiple people. So we'll, how we'll make changes to our Gitignore according to it. For example, we don't want dev.environment file to be transferred there on the code hosting platform. So we'll write it like this, dev.env. Now this particular file will be ignored by our uh, Git. So it will not track this file. First of all, let's check the status. Right now you see it is just tracking the Gitignore because we have created it, and also prod.env. It is not tracking the other dev.env because we have mentioned that ignore that dev.env file, right? Now it might be possible you might have hundreds of .env files. Then would you write all the name of those files? No, you just have to write star.env file. What does that star mean? Star is for regular expression where anything before .env should be ignored. Every file that contains .env extension should be ignored. So we'll save it and let's check the status again. Now you see it is only showing that .gitignore is being untracked and it is ignoring prod.env and dev.env. So this is how Gitignore works. Now for example, if I create a directory here, okay, let's clear this first. Now for example, if I create a directory here called environment, fine, so the directory is being created, and let's put a few files in there. Now let's put some files in there, .env. So let's create a file called prod, not prod but 1.env. So we have created. Now you will see that since we have mentioned ignore each and every .env file, it will ignore 1.env as well. But if we only want that the files inside this folder should be ignored, we should do it like this. We have to mention the path and just that. Now all the files inside env folder will be ignored, and all the other files which are there will be taken, will be asked, it will ask us to track them. So you see it is asking us to track them and ignoring the files that are there inside that folder. Now if you want that the files inside that env folder should not be should be tracked, but all the files that are outside at the root level should not be tracked, then what you'll do, you'll this slash mentions the root folder and then star.env. All the files only in the root should be ignored. Now let's check the status. You see now it is tracking the .env folder files but ignoring the files outside or only at the root level. Now you only want a particular file to be untracked, that is there in the root level only. So it will you just have to write that and a slash to mention that we only want dev.env to be ignored in the root folder only. So let's save it and now start tracking it. So you see it is started tracking, asking us to track the complete env folder and the prod.env. since we have mentioned in the root level dev.env should be ignored, so it is ignoring that. Now for example, if I create another .env inside this folder, so now I have created dev.env inside the environment folder as well, and outside that in the root folder as well. If I write dev.env here and save it, and then I'll check the status again, it is showing it is capturing product.env and the env folder as well. Now let's add these files and now check the status. So you see all the dev.env files are ignored, only the one.env is considered from the env folder. So this is how you can ignore files of a particular extension or a particular name, and even a folder. You can also specify a folder to be ignored, right? I've already told you, like you can specify the name of that folder and then a slash, it will ignore that folder. Fine, so let's clear this and let's commit our changes first. Message Gitignore done, and let's check our logs as well, last two logs. So these are the things. I hope you might have learned whatever I have I hope you got the idea how gitignore and the rm command should be used or can be used to ease our stuff. If you guys have any doubt, do let me know in the comment section, and if you find something wrong or any improvement in the content, do let me know in the comment section. Like the video if you have learned something from this video. Do share it with your friends for whom this content will be helpful, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I regularly post some amazing content. So let's meet in the next video. Stay tuned. Thank you.